Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about my 2008 5500 tow rig and love-hate relationship, how much money I've sunk into this thing, and many more other little items about purchasing a truck like this. Hi guys, welcome. My name's Sam, and it's been a minute since we've done a video strictly on my 5500, just talking about it, the ins and outs, some stuff that's changed underneath the hood of it. Quite obvious, I didn't want to share much under the hood with you guys for a while now because emissions related garbage, but you can tell the smoke in the air, there's some pretty big concerns elsewhere. But we're going to go into the ins and outs of the truck. I'm going to show you what I've done to it, how much it cost me, and I have this question a lot based on any new vehicle that's brought into the picture. Why don't you just go ahead and delete it? Like Austin, he just got a new truck, and Tavet, they just bought brand new 3500s. Why don't you just go ahead and delete those? This truck is a prime example of that. Just think, if you have something like a dirt bike or a side-by-side, you soup it up, you have fun, you break it, whatever, it gets put in the garage Monday morning to go to work and do your thing. You start messing with the truck that makes you money and it brings in the cash flow. This is my technical full-on work truck. Day in and day out, this is my work truck. Used to be just strictly tow rig, and I'll drive one of my other vehicles for hauling fuel around and stuff like that. But since I found out that California is only going to allow it to be here for a couple more years, legally without a mileage limit, I'm using it every single day. Backstory for those of you that don't know, when I got my CDL, I needed something to start hauling equipment with. So I got this thing. I bought it out of Texas. It had 48,000 original miles on it, completely bone stock. It didn't have the Alcoas, but it had the flatbed, stock bumper. It is 4-wheel drive, 6.7 Cummins with the G56 manual transmission. Now, it came bone stock with 305 horsepower. That gets the job done, but it was really terrible. Reason why I went with an older one is because I wanted a stick shift, and I bought this in 2015, end of 2015. I wanted the stick shift, and I planned on deleting it right off the bat, because go ahead and look up the California small regulations for the weight class of a 5500. You will know why I can run it like this. But things that I've done right off the bat, I deleted it. I did a what do you call it, Mini Max, which is a basic delete, MBRP exhaust. She got up and go, slipped the clutch right off the bat. And this is the dark hole that I went in, because this thing's supposed to make me money, and right off the bat I just sunk $2,500 into it. Well, I'll step back. I'll just tell you guys how much I paid for this thing after shipping and after taxes. In 2015, with the 48,000 miles on it, it was about $36,000 shipped after taxes, DMV, all that BS crap, and that 45,000 pound sticker on the door. Since then, I put the Alcoas on it. I put the Ranch Hand on the front. I've put probably at least what I've just said the price tag was underneath the hood of this truck. But right off the bat, like I just said, I paid $36 for the truck, and then I put another $2,500, actually more than that, or it's about $1,000 for a delete, and then $1,500 for a dual disc clutch, because the stock clutch lasted till third gear. It was kind of a impressive feat right there. And so that right there, I just made a reliable vehicle unreliable. That's why I don't touch any of the newer ones. And given everything that I've done to this thing, I've added gauges so I can monitor everything. I've added stuff to make it run cooler. I've added just everything to make this thing more reliable, when at the end of the day I could have just bought a brand new 3500 or 5500 4th gen truck and we would have been off to the races. So this is a site I haven't showed. There's no actual videos left of the stuff I've done under the hood of this thing. So it has a Steed Speed with a stock location for the turbo. The turbo is still a VGT turbo. I didn't actually need to replace my original one. Turned out it was a throttle position sensor. that issue going through turbos and just chasing something that I thought I wanted a little bit different ended up kind of screwing me about 10 grand worth of just chasing turbos, different manifolds. So I have extra stuff now, but it is a 64 millimeter VGT. I believe it's 64 on 67 on the back end. Can't remember, it's been a little bit since I did this. And then I have the EGT probe and stuff up on the manifold like it should be, and this is the issue that I ran into earlier with still chasing the rabbit hole of, well, Steed Speed, you have to have a back pressure sensor for the VGT. That's this little guy up there. I thought I had an issue with that I ohmed it out a while back. That's why it's got crimps on it. But you have a back pressure sensor. That little tube feeds it right there. But that little tube goes over there into the manifold. And it has, I would say, where's that thing at? Let's see if I can get it in there for you guys. It's got that rinky-dink little pipe fitting connector. Well, that son of a gun was leaking. I had issues with the exhaust brake making some funny noises when you applied it. When I turned on the pack brake, it stopped making those noises, but I was losing, you know, back pressure. It was not building full boost because of that. So that was an issue that I fixed earlier tonight. At least I hope that was an issue. The truck sounds a little bit cleaner now. I don't have an exhaust leak on the manifold. So Steed Speed, I would appreciate it if you guys looked into that. But I do have a fleece coolant bypass on it. That thing's not really a big deal to install, but that allows for the temperature of the rear of the engine to be cooled off a little bit better, because it's not a dead space back there that just coolant gets trapped in, because that is a big flaw, I would say, in the Cummins. There's other coolant bypasses that will do the job just fine, but I'm happy I put the extra effort in to get that fleece one in the back. I feel a little bit better about it. And between that, and then you can see where I used to have an EGR garbage right there, I got these new blue lines. Those blue lines, they go down into the bumper, because I had some pretty serious overheating issues. Well, not really serious, but I mean, it would easily get up to like in the high 220s, like without a problem. Like I'd have to start backing down and turn the tunes down. So I added a secondary radiator. I believe this radiator is something for like a Polaris side-by-side or something like that, or quad. Got her on eBay, worked out slick. It actually helps out quite a bit for cooling and for the crankcase vent, instead of going back into the turbo like it, you know, down there as it normally would. I got a little block off plug. I got a little catch can over here. That thing works slick. It's never really spat anything out. I checked it a couple months ago. There was nothing in it. The truck has 67,000 miles, if I haven't said that now. So it's still a young truck, but you can see, judging by just how the Steed Speed looks back there, it's got a nice rust layer to it. And then it also has 425 head studs. Those things were kind of a pain to install. I made a video on putting those in, but you can see the tops of those. This thing will ride about 1250 EGT temp for long grades, I'll say that much. She definitely gets abused, but engine temp runs up to about 218 on the hot end, 220 maybe, and that's about as hot as it goes, and it'll run those 1250. But running that little exhaust leak, I'm hoping that'll fix my issue. I'm going to go up another steep grade tomorrow till about 30,000. I'm hoping that that exhaust leak's going to fix what I had going with my EGTs, because I was kissing 13 pretty quick, and that's a little bit more than I want to see on a daily basis. But EGTs had remained calm at 1250 is my happy medium. I don't mind that temperature, but for engine temp in the beginning it was really terrible. But I added a aluminum radiator. I don't know how a new Dodge is, but the stock 3rd gen 5500 intercoolers were really small, so I added this bigger one right here, and that made a big difference. It seemed like every modification I added to this truck, it started to, you know, it'd be 10% better each time for cooling the temps. And so I figured, I got new turbo, got new intake, the S&B cold air. Just cleaned that filter tonight. I think I'm gonna have to order a new one of those. It's got probably however many miles I've drove the truck, so close to 20,000 on it. Cleaned it several times, but I think it's due for a good replacement. But I figured, since I got new exhaust manifold, new turbo, new exhaust, and new intercooler, I might as well just go get the Banks Monster Ram. Yeah, this is an open package deal. But if you start adding stuff up, just what's basically on here right now, $300 for the coolant bypass, $700 for the manifold, $2,300 I believe for the turbo, $300 for this guy, $300 for that. This thing was $1,000. You see how quickly the rabbit hole starts to really progress. And then the Monster Ram, I think those are like 300, 400 bucks, something like that. But the one key ingredient that really makes a tow rig awesome is, one, having a good exhaust brake. The VGT is by far the best exhaust brake I've experienced. I've ran numerous butterfly valve ones. I even have, you can see this mess of wires right here. That's because I had 2 pack brake systems on here. I still run the onboard air because of it. So this computer right here ran my exhaust brake, and this one runs the engine brake. This one is, I actually could probably remove that now. I don't even need that one bit. But stock, because I had pack brake, exhaust brake. I have the load leash still installed on it right here. That thing is like a second gear for your engine braking capability. It is pure gold to have that. That is one of the major benefits of the Cummins, is to have the ability to throw an actual weeper valve engine brake style system on it. And whew, that is very well worth it. I added these Alcoas. Those things were about 1,500 bucks, something like that. Go to the back, you can't see it, but I put airbags in it. And when I first started this process, I thought I was saving money. It's gotten dark on us. We're just going to finish this video out. But tell you what, we'll go ahead and kick some lights on. When I started this whole process, I thought I was going to be saving money by getting an older truck, because I'm just going to delete it and turn it into something that's going to be just as powerful as a new truck. It's going to be just as reliable because it doesn't have the emissions, it doesn't have all that garbage on top of it. But in hindsight, thinking back on it, would I do it again? For a learning curve, learning all this stuff, I definitely would do it again, but it's not very financially responsible for a work rig to go through everything that I did, because I lost a lot of time, a lot of energy chasing something that more or less results in like a 400, maybe 425 horsepower tow rig. I mean, a 6.7 deleted, it is neat to see how much more potential lies underneath all that California garbage that's on the top of that. And they rip. They are absolutely fun. So on that standpoint, for a play vehicle, it was worth it. But had I known what it was going to take to do what it does now, I would have just gone and bought a stock 4th gen. Because when I base the horsepower, I base it on what new trucks like the new Ford and the new 2020 Dodge do, towing the same weight up hill down, like right over there. If you guys watch those videos, the new Ford versus new Dodge, they pull the hill just the same speed that this thing pulls it at. So I'd say the horsepower's got to be right in the same ballpark of the 400 plus area, which is pretty good. It's a respectable, you know, horsepower for a tow rig. It's nothing too extreme. It gets the job done. It remains cool and reliable, and that's the main thing. But I'll say, since I did open it up, California Delete intake exhaust tip, the fuel mileage has definitely gotten better, and I really approve of that, because fuel's really expensive here. So if you added up everything that I've added to this truck, with the new tires and wheels, stuff that comes on a new truck, if you were going to spend 70,000 bucks, like, you know, Tavitt spent on his, or Austin did, you're going to be money ahead just to get a new truck like that, rather than go down this rabbit hole that I did, chasing more power, chasing cooler temperatures, when chief engineers at Fiat have already made the new Ram so much better than it ever has been, or even the Ford people if they had better engine brake. So basically you could say that there is a lot of money. If I've had 36 grand invested in initial purchase of this truck, I will say that I am nothing short of 30,000 in aftermarket parts on this thing, when my new 3500 can do everything damn near just as good, and I trust it for hours on end doing that temperature. It keeps it cool. I have no idea what EGTs are on a new truck, but the engine temp remains calm, and I can, you know, trust them for the rest. I forgot to mention that my stock 3500 to 385 horsepower is completely stock to this day, and it's got more miles on it than I put on this thing, and it's been absolutely flawless. Knock on wood, it stays that way. But I'm happy with the power of a stock new truck. I think they still rip. Anyway, I just want to put that in. But pretty much, that is in a lump sum why I don't want to delete any more work trucks. I will have no problem deleting fun trucks through my loopholes that I do know, and I'm not going to share too many of those with you guys on YouTube. But I've had a lot of fun building this truck up, but it has been very stressful because if it develops a new noise, you can pretty much relate it to something that I have changed. And buying a new vehicle, you trust some people at a place that work on them every single day. Because if you change 2 things on here, that's 2 more things that you gotta readdress later on to double check your work. You might not have put a clamp quite tight, or like tonight, I had red lock tight that back pressure sensor because it's came loose a couple of times, and I don't really see a way that it would stay tight without red Loctite. So anyway, guys, that's going to conclude this video. I just wanted to show off what's underneath the hood. And as far as the transmission, it does have the South Bend dual disc, and it has dual fast transmission coolers on it. So the G56 does run, I think it's about 20 degrees cooler than it used to, because I checked it before I put those on there, and I checked it afterwards. But other than that, the rear end of this truck, absolute Haas. Drive shafts, drive lines, transfer case, everything is a Haas. The framework of it is a Haas. It's very tempting to just, you know, for long-term goals, I just want to leave it the way it is. It's been working good. One thing I will note, I am not very happy with the turbo performance, how this thing tows. I don't know if it's tune related. It does have different tunes on it now. It's got EFI Live, and it absolutely ripped with the stock turbo. Went through that whole BS with different tuners and stuff, and we got it to a point that it does the job, but I still feel like it's got more potential. And honestly, so many hours and days invested in just revisions, talking to people, trying to get it right, trying to get it to build the good boost. I'm going to see what it does tomorrow now that I addressed that little exhaust leak, see if we get back to something that I like. But I honestly feel like it had better power with a good tune and a stock turbo. Like good get up and go power. This thing, it'll pull a hill a lot stronger and a lot cooler now with that bigger turbo. But I think I lost a little bit, something along the way. And I'll say Tavitt's new 2020 3500. I would like one of those. I'd say that much. They are nice. See you guys on the next one. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys have done to your tow rigs to make them. I don't like calling ultimate tow rig, but I got to get you to watch these videos somehow. So this thing is a good definition of a ultimate tow rig. Might be the final stages of what performance mods this truck will see, because she's cost me a lot of money. See you guys on the next one. See you on. Like, comment, subscribe.